I work basically in education for Atira women in 3 second stage housing programs at Atira. 2 of them are on the downtown east side and another one in Richmond. My role is to support women in whatever education goals that they have, whether that be life skills or higher education learning, applications for colleges, or finishing their high school, or getting ready for the job market. So these are particularly women who are ready for that transition and are looking for some support and guidance around that. Also, I do work with women who just need some support with sort of life skills and essential learning.
Can you share a story of someone you supported whose journeys demonstrated an incredible result? And it was, of course, because of your trauma-informed approach.
Sure. So I feel like I've had so many success stories. However you want to decide what is success or not. But I think that all the women I work with have great potential, and they just needed or still need opportunities to move forward in a direction that works for them. But in terms of working with women who have not only been traumatized by life experiences, but also honestly within the education system itself, sometimes they are coming to me with a lot of barriers. And mine, who is an older woman who I worked with for many years, and I met her in one of the programs just in the lobby of the building, and she called out to me and asked me if I could help her with some things that she wanted to work on, which is mostly around sort of life skills and health and some sort of essential skills to help her to move forward, where it might be just organizational skills, setting herself up for better health. And she really, really wanted to get healthy, like physically and emotionally. She had been through a lot and was in recovery, had been in recovery for, I think, 3 years by the time I met her. And I will say now she moved out to one of the programs in the suburbs, and she is doing amazingly well. She's working full time. She's joined 2 different softball teams. She is a practitioner of yoga. She is very engaged in her community, and she's just doing like you wouldn't recognize her if you saw her from where I met her to where she is now. She did all the work, but I was there with her in almost every step of the way through her path. And I mean, maybe she would have gotten there in the end by herself, but at the same time, I was, just because of my ability to support her in the role that I have, I was able to expedite her progress and also help her with reaching out to other organizations that she wanted to engage with, that she wanted to work with. As she was part of the peer program, I got her involved in that. And just through the years, building up the confidence and the ability to be a member, a sort of a giving and supportive member of the community has made a huge difference. She has a lot to offer, and it was just so great to see her succeed in the way that she has. I'm more working with these days is a younger woman who I met her in one of the programs that I was actually waiting for another woman to show up for some tutoring that she needed for academic purposes. She was going to finish her high school. And for this woman, she just came and sat down. She was actually waiting for her laundry to finish. And as I was waiting and she was waiting, and we ended up talking, and I said, do you want to work with me about like on things that you want to move forward? And she very nonchalantly said, sure. Like she didn't know what she really wanted to do or how things were going to work out for her. But through months of my continuous like building the relationship first with her, and then just sort of allowing her to dream about a life that she wants that is obtainable and sustainable and that she can do. And I had every confidence that she could. She just needed to have a starting point and for somebody to offer her some possibilities and connections to the community that she could then tap into and work her way into her own independence and moving forward. So from that point where we were just literally talking about what she wanted to do and meeting for a coffee and talk to the point where we were going to get her certificate in culinary arts, which is she's now finished. She is also now working full time for an organization, and she has plans by the end of the summer to move out with two good friends that she has since met, and plans to move out of the city. And these are all of the sort of hopes that she had for herself, was to live in a smaller community, have full-time work, have some education behind her, and start building her life. When I met her, she had her high school education, but she had only ever had one job, so her resume was very limited. So going to the culinary school, then getting a job right after that, and continuously seeing me to check in and to say, okay, so what's next on the list and what else are you doing? I asked her to decide on like some health skills that she wanted to achieve. And so she said that she would like to start running. And now she runs 3 times a week and she's doing 5K runs on the regular. And she's just, she's really thriving.
But I just wanted to kind of reflect of some of the things and points you were mentioning about the two stories that you were describing. First, having a space and everyone's journey is different. And
Mm-hmm.
you also emphasize the fact that they're the one who made that choice. They're the ones who are responsible for their life, and you were the guide. And that you talk about the importance of community and
Yeah.
how being involved and you making sure that you emphasize those factors to them, that getting involved in the school or some sort of work is going to help with a lot of barriers that they are going through, and also help them with the confidence, which is your last point of the causes and barriers of all of that is the lack of confidence.
Yeah.
So I think my understanding, because I've been with Atira for 3 years, is that the lack of confidence can be caused by many factors. And
Mm-hmm.
a lot of the women that we serve and the residents that are involved in the Atira's programs have been affected by gender violence, domestic violence. Um, what are some of the barriers that you think some individuals are facing?
Well, I mean, in my experience, when I see them, they have already experienced a lot of trauma, still are experiencing trauma with within violent relationships. So that's part of the conversations that we're able to have. And um, again, it's either the emotional abuse, the physical abuse, the sexual abuse that they have experienced has resulted in the kind of lack of confidence, the inability to feel like there's any choices that they have that they can make. So I feel like the first step in my job is to first of all build that sense of safety that that's coming up for you, like what is the barrier or what is the resistance in making that step forward. And it's often as a result of the trauma that they have experienced or are still in. And then, with gender violence, for example, but specifically, um, some of the women that I work with are still in those toxic relationships with partners. But I am not there to tell them that they need to get out of that relationship, it is their call. But what I have found is that through the work that we do together, I at least help them to tease out what the issues are for them and why it is that, or how it is that they can feel better about themselves, crowding out all the negative that they have experienced throughout their life, which is often overwhelming. And I also can, I hear these really, really, really hard stories that they so trustingly um, ask me to hold for them, and it's very difficult. But I also feel that that's part of the work that I'm doing, and that helps them to sort of feel the sense of that they are enough, because I'm not moving away from them. Even though they've had these experiences, there's still other things that they can do that are really positive, and they have an opportunity to move forward with their life no matter what has happened in the past, or even what is still happening. So crowding out the negative and just building that connection with love and support is probably the piece that I am able to do best. And by showing that,
It's a very
regaining a sense of, for them, it's about regaining or gaining, if they've never had it, a sense of control over their own lives, and then connecting with the community. And then from that, finding a sense of purpose and meaning. And that's where I feel my role, it really fits with what they need.
yeah.
And that only happens when they're ready. So yeah.
Yes. And again, everyone's journey is different.
Yeah.
Someone might take 3 years, you were
Yes.
mentioning, and or someone. So a lot of times we as human being, I guess, we're thinking about the time, and every time there's a setback and challenges, we are rethinking our strategy, we doubting our self-worth,
Absolutely.
or confidence, where some of these women and individuals had the hardest life stories as you witnessed or being
Yeah.
trusted with, but then you
Yeah.
see a magnificent change and shift in their life,
Yeah.
through connection, regaining control.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you because um, you also have to show up for yourself, right?
Hmm.
It,
Hmm.
it could get heavy where you're hearing the stories or witnessing. Sometimes it might not be happy ending because we are living in a work in a space that anything could happen, and but we can be only there as a support.
Yeah.
So what keeps you motivated to continue showing up for the community every day?
Well, I think my whole life I have worked for community change. I want to make a difference. And so Atira gives me the opportunity to do that in this very specific way. And part of what keeps me going is just the fact that I get to live my values. And and that's really important to me. And I feel extremely privileged because that's not something that everyone gets to do. It's sort of baked into the work, which is great. So I don't need to look elsewhere to have a sense of purpose and meaning in my own life. Um, that what keeps me going is the sense of real, like, there are days where I feel so elated for somebody else's achievements, and they're just, even if it's just that they have um they have some more answers for themselves of how they want to live, or they have really gained a sense of confidence that I can see, and they're ready to, perhaps go and work outside and work for another organization, or whatever, start making some money for themselves. Because these women, a lot of them, because of their trauma, they don't have the confidence, and they've often felt like they're like the total weirdo in the world, and everyone's sort of looking at them thinking they're such, that either they're, unacceptable in some way, or they're not enough. And so when I see a woman who feels that they're not any different. Like we're all struggling. And I tell them my stories of struggle too. And I share, what I have, have had challenges with, which I don't compare or anything, but I just want to say that we all feel like we're total weirdos in the world. And we all have these unique qualities, and we also have our difficulties. But because of a lot of trauma, and they feel very like on the outside, and they're very, very sensitive and vulnerable, they often feel that that is the thing that sort of stops them from moving forward or leaving the house or getting involved because they don't feel they're good enough. And so it gives me such a huge sense of pleasure when I see somebody feeling good about themselves. And that's why I do the job. And as far as self-care, my own self-care, this is part of me feeling good about, looking after myself, is being in community and is celebrating the wins of other people.
Ask you in this interview with this question, what is the best maybe learning or advice you heard from a woman or some of the residents you helped or people in the program that
The
you learned
best,
from?
right. Oh, I've learned so much, so much. Um, I think, I don't know if people ever intentionally wanted to to um, to teach this to me, but I have learned that especially in the first couple of years, because I was kind of like, my hair was on fire, like I thought we all need to, there's so much work to do, and what to start with, kind of thing. But I think that one of the things that I really learned was that it's it's important to just let people be who they are, and it's not going to, things don't get fixed in a day. Some things never get fixed, but can find strategies to live with. Um, and at the same time, um, knowing that I am not there to teach in the conventional sense, that I'm not some kind of um, conductor of their life, that I walk beside them. And that's a really important part of my job. And I think I've been taught that many times when women have, you know, in their own way said, slow your roll, like I'm not like there yet, kind of thing. And just learning to really listen in a way that, and be in touch and in tune with where somebody is at, taking that extra time to really um, feel that, or to understand the that empathy is a part of a strategy to not only heal other people, but it also heals me. So I have a lot of empathy for other people, but I also hold that empathy for myself too. Life can be tough, and it's okay that it is, but it's also beautiful in many ways as well.
Oh, that's so true. And if and I know that I said, because I'm enjoying talking to you so much, I have so many questions, and I said that was the last question, but maybe I would just end it with this, because as of right now, there are a lot of women who are whether in an abusive domestic
Yeah,
relationship, or they're going through hard time, or they're facing housing situation, housing
yeah,
challenges, and other form of traumas. And some might not have as much hope, or they're disappointed or feel hopeless, that sense of
yeah,
control is not there for them. And I know we don't want to give advice to people, because we can only provide guide, because we don't know everyone's story, and what advice might
yeah.
not work for everyone. But what would you say, if one word, because it's really hard to reach everybody, but if it's just a one sentence that you can say that might change someone's perspective, or give them the first step to a new hope, what would that be?
Well, I think, I do work with, so while I'm doing, tutoring, educating, whatever, I have to know that there are systems in place, even if they're not perfect, they are not perfect, but there are structures in our community that will give them the time, give them the space to figure things out. And with help and support, they can do it. I think that that's probably one of the things. So relieving the tension, relieving the sort of the worry, the constant nagging worry about what's going to happen next. A lot of women have that experience. Again, it's this lack of control. So how do you relieve that tension? How do you relieve like those moments of being like so overwhelmed that you sort of like, I get texts where people, somebody will say, I really just, I can't meet you today. I'm just feeling so bad. And I say, well, that's totally fine, but maybe, do you want to just meet for 15 minutes and we can talk and, and maybe just get a coffee or something. And then that turns into an hour. And maybe we didn't do anything about whatever it is that her goals or plans are around education, but we are working on building a connection, building the relationship and saying, it's okay, it's fine. Nothing has happened and you are safe. And that's the main thing, knowing that you're safe, that nothing is going to change from today to tomorrow. And I'm here for you. And we are here for you as Atira. So don't panic kind of thing, which is kind of a knee-jerk reaction to probably experiences they've had in the past. Being unhoused is a traumatic experience, let alone everything else that comes with it. So just knowing that even if they don't have the confidence in themselves, knowing that you are a support and you are there and it's going to be fine. We're going to figure it out. And after half the time, that's all that people want. That's all they need. They don't
That
feel
everything's
if
going
they
to be okay. To hear that
just to hear
that
that.
yeah,
And
the
even though I
security, sense
can't,
of safe.
that's right. Like, even though I can't guarantee that, obviously, but it's like let's talk about what you have. You have a home. You get up in the morning. There is food in your fridge. You are working with me. You're working on your goals. We are moving things forward. Bad days, bad weeks happen, but it's okay. And it's going to be fine. And I think
Yes,
that in itself can be very healing. And then
yes.
building it up from there.
So focusing on the positives and
Totally.
what we have control of, and
Yeah.
moving and having that space and taking the next step and the next step towards what is going to happen, because
Yeah.
everything can be overwhelming. And
That's
we
right.
all,
Yeah.
even just not specific to women who are experiencing trauma. I mean, they experience it more, but
Yeah.
even we are ourselves
All of
have
us.
that feeling that I feel like I need to have a control of my calendar
Yeah.
the next day,
Right.
or what's going to
Right.
happen with this and
Right.
this and that. And we have all our own worries in a way,
Yeah.
might not be the same in same intensity, or but
Yeah.
ha thinking about what we have and focusing on at the
Yeah.
moment
Yes.
is where make you grounded, which
Yes.
is
Being present in the moment, being reflecting on what it is that you have built on, that is working for you, trying again to crowd out the negativity.